Informal economy. The train night market in Bangkok. Thailand has a diverse and robust informal labor sector. In 2012, it was estimated that informal workers comprised 62.6% of the Thai workforce. The Ministry of Labor defines informal workers to be individuals who work in informal economies and do not have employee status under a given country's Labor Protection Act, LPA. The informal sector in Thailand has grown significantly over the past 60 years over the course of Thailand's gradual transition from an agriculture-based economy to becoming more industrialist and service-oriented. Between 1993 and 1995, 10% of the Thai labor force moved from the agricultural sector to urban and industrial jobs, especially in the manufacturing sector. It is estimated that between 1988 and 1995, the number of factory workers in the country doubled from 2 to 4 million, as Thailand's GDP tripled. While the Asian financial crisis that followed in 1997 hit the Thai economy hard, the industrial sector continued to expand under widespread deregulation, as Thailand was mandated to adopt a range of structural adjustment reforms upon receiving funding from the IMF and World Bank. These reforms implemented an agenda of increased privatization and trade liberalization in the country, and decreased federal subsidization of public goods and utilities, agricultural price supports, and regulations on fair wages and labor conditions. These changes put further pressure on the agricultural sector, and prompted continued migration from the rural countryside to the growing cities. Many migrant farmers found work in Thailand's growing manufacturing industry, and took jobs in sweatshops and factories with few labor regulations and often exploitative conditions. Those that could not find formal factory work, including illegal migrants and the families of rural Thai migrants that followed their relatives to the urban centers, turned to the informal sector to provide the extra support needed for survival. Under the widespread regulation imposed by the structural adjustment programs, one family member working in a factory or sweatshop made very little. Scholars argue that the economic consequences and social costs of Thailand's labor reforms in the wake of the 1997 Asian financial crisis fell on individuals and families rather than the state. As the country's labor market became increasingly deregulated, the burden and responsibility of providing an adequate livelihood shifted from employers and the state to the workers themselves, whose families had to find jobs in the informal sector to make up for the losses and subsidize the wages being made by their relatives in the formal sector. The weight of these economic changes hit migrants and the urban poor especially hard, and the informal sector expanded rapidly as a result. Songkran Festival, Chiang Mai's ancient city wall. Today, informal labor in Thailand is typically broken down into three main groups: subcontracted/self-employed/home-based workers, service workers, including those that are employed in restaurants, as street vendors, masseuses, taxi drivers, and as domestic workers, and agricultural workers. Not included in these categories are those that work in entertainment, nightlife, and the sex industry. Individuals employed in these facets of the informal labor sector face additional vulnerabilities, including recruitment into circles of sexual exploitation and human trafficking. A 2012 study found that 64% of informal workers had not completed education beyond primary school. Many informal workers are also migrants, only some of which have legal status in the country. Because the informal labor sector is not recognized under the Labor Protection Act, LPA, informal workers are much more vulnerable to exploitation and unsafe working conditions. While some Thai labor laws provide minimal protections to domestic and agricultural workers, they are often weak and difficult to enforce. Furthermore, Thai social security policies fail to protect against the risks many informal workers face, including workplace accidents and compensation, as well as unemployment and retirement insurance. Many informal workers are not legally contracted for their employment, and many do not make a living wage. Tens of thousands of migrants from neighboring countries face exploitation in a few industries, especially in fishing where slave-like conditions have been reported. Science and technology. Thailand ranked 43rd in the Global Innovation Index in 2023. The Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation and its agencies oversees the development of science, technology, and research in Thailand. According to the National Research Council of Thailand, the country devoted 1.1% of its GDP to the research and development of science in 2019, with over 166,788 research and development personnel in full-time equivalent that year. Infrastructure. Transport in Thailand and list of airports in Thailand. The BTS Skytran is an elevated rapid transit system in Bangkok. There were two failed Project Lavalin Skytran and Bangkok Elevated Road and Train System, before Mass Rapid Transit Master Plan in Bangkok Metropolitan Region endorsed by the Cabinet on September 27, 1994 and to be implemented from 1995 to 2011. The State Railway of Thailand, SRT, operates all of Thailand's national rail lines. Krung Thep Aphawat Central Terminal and Bangkok, Hua Lamphong, are the main termini of intercity routes. Phahaniathin and ICD Lat Krabang are the main freight terminals. As of 2017, SRT had 4,507 kilometers, 2,801 miles, of track, all of it meter gauge. Nearly all is single track, 4,097 kilometers, although some important sections around Bangkok are double, 303 kilometers or 188 miles, or triple tracked, 107 kilometers or 66 miles, and there are plans to extend this. Rail transport in Bangkok includes long-distance services, and some daily commuter trains running from and to the outskirts of the city during the rush hour, but passenger numbers have remained low. There are also 4 rapid transit rail systems in the capital, the BTS Skytran, MRT, SRT Red Lines and the Airport Rail Link. Thailand has 390,000 kilometers, 240,000 miles, of highways. As of 2017, Thailand has over 462,133 roads and 37 million registered vehicles, 20 million of them motorbikes. A number of undivided 2-lane highways have been converted into divided 4-lane highways. Within the Bangkok metropolitan region, there are a number of controlled access highways. There are 4,125 public vans operating on 114 routes from Bangkok alone. Other forms of road transport includes tuk-tuks, taxis, with over 80,647 registered taxis nationwide as of 2018, vans, minibus, motorbike taxis and songthos. As of 2012, Thailand has 103 airports with 63 paved runways, in addition to 6 heliports. The busiest airport in the country is Bangkok Suvarnabhumi Airport.